Mental balance. Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya. Brain is the center of man's power. Its strength is limitless. If it is possible to make the proper use of this strength, then the man goes on progressing and progressing along the desired path. The waves produced in the mind are so powerful that one can achieve plenty of material prosperity with their help. As much as the brain is powerful, so also it is extremely delicate. To protect it and maintain its activity, it is very essential to save it from unrequired heat. If we wish to take proper work from it, it is essential to create balanced conditions for it. The brain is subjected to severe heat from the sun, as well as by overhot water and chemicals, but it is also subjected to heat produced by excitement, and the damage to an organized mind is in direct proportion to the extent of such excitement. When excitement increases, man lapses into semi-madness and his imagination, decisions and activity all appear strange. If the actions and activities of a person ridden by anger are carefully observed, one can conclude that very little is now remaining for him to become mad. If the mind possessed by boiling anger is not cooled in time, then a situation can occur in which a person may commit murder, suicide and other cruel acts. A face full of anger looks like demon's face and signs of excitement become clearly visible on the eyes, lips, nose, etc. The person uses abusive language, the body temperature rises because of increased blood circulation, the hands and legs start trembling and the hair stands on end. Blood pressure is of two types, high and low blood pressure, and hence a change in blood pressure may affect either. In the condition of high blood pressure, there is a feeling of increased discomfort and suffocation. The symptoms of lower blood pressure are different, but there is discomfort all the same due to other types of effects on the body. Increased blood pressure can be linked to anger and low blood pressure to sad feelings. Feelings and actions full of malice, contempt, aggression, destruction and cruelty come within the ambit of anger, whereas feeling and actions of despair, worry, sorrow, fear and shyness come within the sphere of sadness. They can be considered similar to high and low tide, capable of creating instability and disorganization. Everyone knows how difficult it is to swim in a sea full of high waves. The mental condition of a sorrowing, fearful and despairing individual ruins even a strong health in no time. The face looks devoid of life. The voice becomes weak. It appears as if the body is half dead. One does not feel like doing any work, appetite and thirst vanish and one finds it very difficult to get sleep. Almost the same situation occurs in anger. The difference is only this much, that when the feeling of sadness dominates the conditions is like the freezing and melting of ice, whereas in the state of anger, it is like scorching and burning. As it is, in either situation, the ordinary situation gets destroyed and not only the mind or the brain but also the body becomes incapable of day-to-day routine. On observing the effects of excitement, it is found that excitement produces a severe shock on the capacity for routine work. The eyes, ears, nose and tongue are able to work half-heartedly, that too with great effort. There is no taste in the mouth. The ears hear imaginary sounds. Very little is remembered of the events that have happened before the eyes. The body temperature rises, hair stand on end, breathing becomes faster, and heartbeats and blood circulation become faster. These symptoms collectively destroy to a large extent the life force. It may be all right if such a thing occurs once in a while, but if this disorganized situation, like a bad habit, becomes a part of one's mental makeup, then it is useless to expect stability or happy possibilities in an individual. Mental instability is said to be caused by circumstances and a person offers excuses like, "It is not my fault. The circumstances were such that I became the victim of excitement or sadness." On the face of it, This logic appears both straight and true, but this is not reality. Different people react differently under the same situation. While one person becomes berserk with a slightly unfavorable situation, another person is able to remain calm and stable in a similar or even more unfavorable situation. This second type of person considers it as the routine ups and downs in life and is not at all perturbed or afraid. He reacts by trying to find solutions for the unfavorable conditions and feels that it is foolish to become perturbed just because the situation has gone against expectations. Normally, one does not come across mental diseases. Hence, the harm caused by mental illness is not visible to the naked eye, but one gradually comes to understand it. Normally, a mental patient shows arrogant and supercilious behavior. One cannot make out that, trapped in some perversity, he is losing his basic capacity and getting sucked into the quicksand of more perversities. There is damage to the society because of mental diseases, which is much more than the loss caused by physical illnesses. Many persons have made significant achievement in various fields despite physical illnesses, but it has never happened that a mentally ill patient has had any achievement to his credit. The number of totally mad persons is increasing so fast that it appears that all the other illnesses are lagging behind in the race. The society can be saved from the havoc of the mad people only when more space is allotted to the building of mental asylums compared to the space allotted for jails. Half-mad, whimsical, unbalanced, disorganized and shallow people have increased to such an extent in the society that mentally healthy people in the society are now in a minority. More people suffering from mental vicariousness can be seen these days compared to those suffering from physical illnesses. This class of people are an obstacle in the organization and progress of an already fragmented society. In reality, crime is also a kind of excited behavior which occurs in a man's hyper-excited state of mind. Thieves and robbers understand the damaging effects of their behavior and repent also. They see and hear the progress and honor received by people who have tread the path of good actions. When others explain this to them, they understand it too. Their morality is roused for some time and they behave like normal, good people. But then somehow, sometimes some waves of disturbed thinking arise and become so uncontrollable that they make them utterly to revert to their earlier criminal ways. According to psychiatrists, this helpless situation in such individuals is similar to that of patients suffering from fever or headache. From a mental angle, only stability and capacity are the signs of mental health. Brain consists of innumerable components and by a coordinated cooperation they carry out their own role in the total working of the brain. If their cooperation is disturbed at some point or coordination is deranged, then peculiar, big or small mental illnesses can manifest. There are four components of a balanced mind: affect, alertness, logical thinking, thought, flow of thoughts, imagination, behavior, transactions, practice, mood, estimate, enthusiasm. Various types of mental patients and their symptoms will be seen depending on the extent of imbalance in the coordination within any two or more of these four. In the absence of logical thinking, man is not able to decide about what people will think and say about his actions, what will be the result of his actions. He does not realize the reactions of the people and the results of his actions. He does not stretch his imagination. He is entangled in only the two, the present and his own mind. As a result, he performs acts which are laughable, unpleasant and wasteful. He may not suffer monetary loss, but others consider him a person with retarded intelligence or childish because of his complicated thinking and give up any hope for his ability for fulfilling any responsibility. People even entertain themselves and others by fooling them or ridiculing such childish persons. When thought processes get disturbed, imagination runs riot. Without any sense or knowledge of the availability of means and their situation, such persons think that whatever they imagine will easily be achieved. They are not able to estimate the means and the time required for giving a concrete shape to their imagination. They are not able to imagine that there can be obstructions to their projects and hence a long distance between imagination and success. As a result, they are no better mentally than the children living in a fantasy land of fairy tales. The popular Sheikh Chilli of children's stories must have been suffering from such a mental weakness. When such people continuously think illogically, they become incapable of doing their daily work and lose their courage for doing anything without anyone's help. As a result of disturbance in their behavior and mood mechanisms, it becomes difficult for a man to find out about the why and how of a such person's transactions with him. Many a time we see their madness whereby they mistakenly believe their enemies to be their friends. These persons are also paradoxically afraid because of their belief that some persons have become their enemies, indulging in black magic against them or plotting to poison them and destroy them. Many are obsessed by an imaginary fear of accident, death, attack, loss, separation, jail, etc. Such persons are not even able to decide as to which difficulty can be solved by which solution. Similarly, some people delude into believing that they are leaders, learned persons, kings, etc. and possess occult powers. Because of spoiled mood, many people take to addictions. Sometimes they appear to be full of enthusiasm, happiness, smiling without reason, full of energy, and showing great hopes. At other times they are so much immersed in worries and despair as if the sky has fallen on them. Many persons suffer from the deluded belief that some terrible disease has entered their body or is about to attack them. Impulses and excitements adversely affect the brain, and sometimes a man imagines unwanted projects, and when he is not able to achieve success because of lack of means, he becomes extremely upset and in the resulting excitement destroys the sensitivity of the brain. Immoral thoughts are also harmful because by their very nature, they are destructive. The authors of moral scriptures have also written that anger is sometimes necessary, but it should be morally correct. If anger is totally discarded, how will society combat immorality, injustice, evil and demoniacal activities? Moralists have explained the need for moral anger to combat immorality, injustice, evil and demoniac tendencies. Thoughtless, immoral and rash anger discussed earlier is certainly harmful. Poet Banbhatta has described anger thus: a very angry man is blind despite having eyes. It is said in Valmiki Ramayana, anger takes away life and is the road to total destruction. With the onset of anger, the muscles of the body start becoming tense and the muscles of hands and legs especially tense up more because these limbs have to play a more risky role during a fight. Tension appears on the face. The result of the tensing of muscles is also seen on the whole body, and in addition to hands, legs and face, other organs also tense up and contract. In addition, the respiratory system is also greatly influenced by anger. According to the scientists, all this takes place because in the situation of anger, the energy of the body is quickly depleted. To replenish this spent energy, the lungs become more active and the breathing becomes faster. How can the all-destructive anger be controlled? It has been seen that despite resolving firmly not to become angry, many a time such situations arise that our resolve breaks down and anger bursts forth. Only when the mind is at peace, the person realizes that he had become angry. When a man becomes angry on someone without harming him, he expresses anger on own self because he wants to punish himself and thereby causes personal loss. Thus, anger takes a person to the state of madness. Intelligent and thoughtful persons do not allow anger to grip them, although the reason for anger exists. They take the support of discretion and control this harmful impulse and thus save themselves from harm. Daily some event takes place from which one derives cheer and happiness. Sometimes on seeing someone we feel sadness and revulsion. With some events related to us we feel pain, dejection, anger, excitement, etc. The body suffers from reactions in the form of excitement, etc., and the center of all these reactions is the brain. Because the brain is the controller and administrator of the body, the changes occurring there influence the body also. This has always been a subject of research for psychiatrists. Mental tension or pressure caused by anger, revulsion, suppressed feelings or despair may not only slow down digestion, but it may also cause other disturbances in the digestive system. Ulcers can occur in the stomach and intestines. Symptoms of premature aging may start with mental tension and pressure. Thus, so many adverse effects are caused on the body because of imbalances of the mind, and of all such imbalances, anger is the most vicious and shows its influence immediately. When the impulses of mental imbalances become intense, the flow of digestive juices may decrease or increase. This disturbs the smooth function of the digestive tract. When the mind is at peace, the emotions are of a peaceful nature and the digestive system also works smoothly. Depending on the type of emotion, the flow of the digestive juices may either increase or decrease. If the emotion is of severe fear, the flow decreases, and if the emotion is anger, the flow increases. The poisonous sugar resulting in the internal metabolism because of anger is the most dangerous for digestive system. By its mixture in the blood flow, it spoils it, producing a yellow coloration of the body, tensioning the arteries and veins, and pain in the waist. When a child drinks the milk of an angry mother, he suffers from gripes in the stomach. The milk of a mother who is always angry is sometimes so harmful that the child may start wasting instead of gaining in weight. Anger destroys not only the body's strength or energy but also mental energy. A man can do hard work for 9 hours with the energy that is spent in expressing anger. Along with destruction of energy, anger puts its indelible stamp on the person's health and destroys the natural beauty of the face. Hence, it is in our own interest to save ourselves from anger. Anger is occasionally necessary for an individual's survival in society. It takes a long time for creating compassion and discretion in the people in whom evil has taken deep roots, and by that time such people have done a lot of damage. When an evil person's tendency of harming others becomes intolerable, it becomes necessary to express anger against such a person. This anger must not result from an upset or excited mind but from discretion and proper thinking. Anger is an expression of opposition to something unpleasant or some deceit against us. It is expressed as excitement or impulse and suppresses the ability to discriminate between right and wrong, and then it degenerates into quarrels, bitterness and fights. The family of the emotion of anger is large. Imbalance, upset mind, arrogance and intolerance are its family members. Enmity results from suppressing the outward expression of anger and mentally burning with anger against someone. This enmity causes even greater harm than anger as such. Anger is always a result of haste. When you find that something wrong is going on or if some loss occurs, then do not come to a decision about its cause in a haste. Remember that more or less there is a mistaken, rather hasty conclusion about the cause. Therefore, wherever something has gone wrong or some loss has occurred, go away from that place, stroll in a nice garden or go a friend and talk to him. If you can't do any of these, drink a glass of cold water and cool down. There is always loss in increasing the anger and definite benefit in dousing it. Whenever you get angry, immediately try to divert your mind in some work requiring physical labor. Whenever you get an undesirable result for your work, involve your mind in some study. Also consider daily physical exercise as a must for maintaining physical and mental health. Just as you learn to control anger, similarly learn to control emotions like worry, unhappiness, upsets, etc. Only those who adopt a balanced view for the life can accept various emotions in a neutral and balanced manner. Even then, if uncontrollable emotions burst forth in certain circumstances, do not try to suppress them forcibly. The best way of tackling excitement is to remove it from the mind in some way or the other. The mind's energy is used up in a limited, balanced and organized manner during the process of normal thinking and normal working. During mental excitement, the loss of mind's energy increases very much. During such mental states as suffering from fear, worry, sadness, dejection, etc., man feels lost, whereas during anger, impulse, sexual urge and eagerness, man feels excited. In either case, mental stability is disturbed. Whether ebb or tide, the proportion of upheaval in the sea is the same. The emotion produced in the mind due to an overdose of dejection or happiness makes it impossible to think rationally or come to a proper conclusion, because a tired man thinks despairing thoughts of loss and an intoxicated or overconfident man tends to make tall claims. Body and mind are interrelated. When the mind is happy, the body is active, and if grief or sorrow fill the mind, the body not only becomes lethargic but the work is spoiled because of half-hearted effort, and result will be more expensive than loss. Mood is another name to describe the mind's condition. If the mood is favorable, the man will be immersed in activity, and when the mood is unfavorable, then man will feel that work has become a burden. The mind carries out some activities on its own, whereas it has to take the help of other organs for some other activities. Thinking, cogitation, meditation, imagination, planning, mental conclusion, decision, etc. are carried on independently by the mind, whereas activities such as moving around, eating, drinking, seeing, hearing and speaking have to be carried out by the mind with the help of organs. Mental slavery is a very bad type of dependence. Slaves at least get the time for eating and sleeping, but the slave of mind is never at the rest. Leave alone doing anything independently, they are not able even to think. The basic reason for progress is the mind. Usually circumstances are given the credit or blame, but it is only a shameful excuse. If circumstances are the reason, then most if not all people in the same circumstances would have adopted the same favorable means or path, but it does not really happen. What we really find is that people living in the best of circumstances, with all the facilities at their command, carry out the worst type of deeds. As against that, many people living in extreme adversities and living in a state of scarcity are able to maintain their morality and goodness. Only man is born crying and goes on complaining throughout the life till death. All the other animals do not have any problems or complaints, but man possesses the abilities of thinking and feeling, and therefore gets influenced by the smallest matter or event and expresses his reaction. Most of the reactions are expressed as unfavorable rather than favorable. Some people are unhappy because of the scarcity of material facilities, whereas some are unhappy because of lack mental peace. These problems have become more complicated in the present times. Development or progress have brought many problems in their wake. Of the many new problems created by today's mechanical civilization, the foremost mental tension. An unfailing solution to keep oneself free from mental tension and many other problems is to keep oneself busy. A fine coordination of one's abilities and ambitions also lessens mental tension considerably. Everyone has a strong desire to come out from the current situation and to reach the pinnacles of progress. Our aim should be to lead a life free from worry, but for this we should neither be impatient nor be perturbed. One should try to reach one's target by climbing one step at a time. To save oneself from the bodily discomforts due to tension, everyone must have faith. Some people may find it difficult to believe in God's existence, but one can at least have faith in one's own self, if not anything else. People without mental strength appear to have a suppressed nature. They are not able to tell an ordinary and true tale to anyone. They are always afraid to open their mouth with the fear that the person listening to them will misunderstand or will not be pleased or will snub him. In reality, nothing much is lost if this happens, but a person without mental strength is so much afraid and suppressed that he does not pick up the courage to tell his story to anyone properly. Even though he may communicate, such a person feels shy to talk, so there exists the possibility of misunderstanding. There is also the possibility that the listener may do something undesirable, unexpected and harmful because of such misunderstanding. Why people suffer from lack of mental strength or shyness or inferiority is worth thinking about. Psychiatrists give many reasons for that. According to them, lack of love and attention from parents, neglect by parents and relatives, and constantly being put in a ridiculous situation are some of the reasons which create such situations that the children become the victims of the severe handicap of inferiority. Ill, handicapped, retarded and frail children frequently receive scoldings. As a result, they develop the belief that their situation is pitiable compared to others, that they are just unlucky. Similarly, people belonging to the backward classes mostly consider themselves inferior to others and tend to keep their thinking level also low and inferior. Men devoid of self-confidence and suffering from inferiority complex do not have the strength to cultivate daring and patience. Therefore, they adopt rude behavior for attracting people's attention and sometimes also adopt criminal ways. It takes courage to be rude and commit a crime, and hence when they find quick achievement possible by this approach, people suffering from inferiority search for the company of such criminals for friendship. After joining such vagabonds, they develop the courage for committing crimes and by indulging in intimidation, feel glorified. A person with inferiority complex suffers from the illusion of neglect, contempt and inferiority. He pampers this illusion which impels him to attract others by dressing flashily. The attraction of other people's attention acts as a balm for his inferior feelings. Most persons who dress flashily consider themselves inferior and neglected or rejected by the society. Even though they make tall claims and indulge in false and self-satisfaction, concealed deep in their mind is the suppressed feeling of inferiority.